Hello and welcome once again. This is Nelson Karanja for Global Oak Media. Today we are talking about navigating the 3D environment that is now available finally in After Effects. I know it's been there now for probably a year. First of all, it was in beta mode, but now it is actually available in the normal versions. So today we want to have a look at just navigating the 3D environment. Now, to help us with this, I have downloaded some models from Sketchfab. Okay, here we are. Yeah, in Sketchfab, this is the model that we are going to be using. It is by Scenic, and it's a very well done model. It's got a house and a carport back here. And he has graciously given us a free hanging door somewhere at the back. Not to worry, we can actually be able to work with this particular model because it's quite actually well done for our purposes. If you click on the download options, you can see it doesn't have an OBJ format. We are now able to use OBJ files natively in After Effects. This doesn't have an OBJ, however, we will be using the GLB format. So you can go ahead and download this particular one if you want to follow along. I also got a free car. I believe in my case it was a Mazda, so I'll go ahead and specify that. And I think I got this one right here by 3D Mill. Yes, this is the one I already got. And again, these models, if you check, even though they are free, you need to attribute the order when you upload your models. When you use them, the model is free, but you should actually attribute, and you can just copy the credits here and post in your descriptions so that you can give credit to the contributor of this model. Now back to After Effects, because I've already downloaded this, I'm going to just double click here and go to the folder that has my models. I have a folder here, Sketchfab models. One is the Cozy Cottage and the other one is the free Mazda sedan. I'm going to hold Control and click both of them and click Import. Now we've got two folders here. One has the files for the Cozy Cottage, the other one has the model for the car. Now, actually, today's tutorial is simply about navigating the 3D environment. I know this probably may be something easy for most people if you've been working in 3D environment, but for some of us who just use After Effects for compositing and are just now starting to work with the 3D scene, sometimes just getting around can be very problematic. Sometimes it's just a headache. So we're just going to have a look at how to go through this. Part of it is just, just going around the building or just getting inside the building, and also hopefully we'll be able to place our car inside the carport. So let us start this journey. If we take our Cozy Cottage and we just drag it right into our composition maker, it is going to ask us to make some selections here whether we want to make it a comp size, and we can do that. We can just make it a comp size or just leave it and then scale it to position. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and then we are going to scale it down. So I'll hit S and scale it down to a size that I feel is okay for me. I can also just drag it down a little like that. And Now here we are, we have our 3D model in After Effects. Previously we couldn't do this, it was a big deal. We had to use either Blender or use Element 3D, but now here we are. After Effects is making progress into this particular environment. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a camera. Our camera here has a 16mm. That's because from a previous project it's still like that. We can change this and then later on perhaps we can always come in and adjust. For now I'll use a 24mm. It's a 2-node camera. I don't have a problem with that. Maybe we could just change that to 1 node and see whether it makes any difference for my purposes. However, let's just see that. Automatically now we are in 3D environment, and if you come here and work with this camera, you can be able to navigate around. You can actually orbit around with this. You can also dolly in and out. You can basically just use these controls to move around this particular scene. This tutorial is actually just about navigating the 3D environment. However, I could also point that one is now able to add an environment light, just like we had in Element 3D. Previously, if you opened this option of inserting lights in After Effects, you only had parallel, spot, point, and ambient. Now we have an environment light. What that means is that we can actually have the same features we had in Element 3D, where you can actually use a HDI file to light this. Even with the default, if you now change the intensity of this, you can see it will affect your scene. And you can also rotate. If you come to transform, you'll see we have options of X and Y. You can rotate your HDI map and it will affect your scene. Now, even more important is that actually you now are able to use your own HDI map to light this. If I could just bring in one just for illustration. If you double click here, where that one is, HDR, here it is. I've got this file which I downloaded. Now if I just drag this one here and hide that, because if I don't, it's going to, and we have now here, instead of using the default, we can actually now select that HDR as the source, and you can see now it kind of changes the environment that we are working in. And you can come here and increase the intensity, and you can also rotate it on the X and Y, and it will cast shadows depending on which file you have used. So you have a lot of things that you can do with this. So I'll get rid of this light for now so that I can focus on what I also will get rid of the HDR map. Like I said, the challenge for most of us who are not very comfortable working in the 3D environment is actually navigating in this particular scene. So I've found that the best and easiest way of working with this is just introducing a null object, making it 3D so that it can have all the axes that we need in the 3D environment, the 3 axes of X, Y, and Z. Right now we are looking at this through our active camera, but I want to make sure that this null object, its position, if I hit P, the position that it has right now is at 960 by 540. However, if you look at our camera, the position where it is, this is where it is, and I need our null object to actually be at the same place with our camera. So I'm just going to come here and copy this position and paste it onto the null. So now that they are in the same place. If I come here to two views, you can be able to see that from this perspective. This is very helpful, actually, the two views. Other than putting the null, being able to work with the two views so that you have the active and you also have the other window where you are able to see from top, you can be able to see from the left, you can be able to see from the right and the back and all that. This is very helpful in terms of navigating your environment. Now what we have here is, once I have positioned our null where the camera is, I can now parent our camera. If I take this equip and parent it to the null, and now it becomes tied to the null, and now whatever changes I make to the null, the camera is going to follow. For example, if I come here and I change the X position, you can see now we are able to see our 3D object moving in the same direction as our null is moving. So I want to be able to work with this. Let me see if I can reposition that null in a way that I can be able to see that. Now here we are. We want to get into this house and navigate all the way to the garage, which is at the back, and be able to see what is there. Right now, as you can see, this camera is way out here, and if I click X, no, that's not even X. Okay, let me come to one of the sides. Let me get to the left. Okay, here we are. If I take the Z and move this null, you can see now I'm able to get closer to this. And just having this active window or this active camera supported by this other window or this other view is actually very, very helpful, because now I can see I am approaching the door. Okay, now I can actually be able to position the camera exactly where I want. If I want to shift around, I can do that. If I want to see another view, I can change that to top, and now I can actually be able to see where the camera is pointing. I can be able to turn it around. Okay, so what I want is to be able to go through this door and actually check whether this is actually a real 3D environment. And I can actually now very easily pick my null here, and I can just drag it right through the door. Now if I find that I'm a bit high on this and I want to bring it down again, I can come to, let's try front. Yes, and if I take this, you can see where the camera is now, which is at the same place with our null. And if I drag it down a little bit, I can level it a little bit, you know, so that I'm standing right there, and I can turn it a little bit like that. And I want to be able to just go right in through this door. Let me just position this one right there. Now if I go back to the top, I go down out a little bit, now I can actually be able to push this camera very easily right inside into the room. Now we are inside the room. I can be able to turn the camera around through the null. Okay, we are still not very much inside. Let me just go back in a little bit. Okay, there we are. Now I can turn this camera around inside this house and see what I can see. Let's see what is inside this house. Yeah, we can see it's 3D environment. Okay, I can go in a little bit more and I can turn again inside, be able to look around this particular house. Okay, there's something here I would want to have a look at, so I can turn like that. I want to be able to go in, and I think that I should be looking for Z. So I want to be able to get the Z. Okay, there it is. And as you can see, if I come in, I'm able to go in. Let's see with the X. No, pull it back out a little bit. I want to be able to see, yeah, this is a kitchen. Okay, so here we are able to navigate that, and I believe that if you turn the camera around, you know, depending on where it's positioned and the focal length, you'll be able to see inside that house. We could also just leave it at that and move further in. Let's go back to, yeah, that's the top. I want to be able to just go right through it. Let me push right through another room, and I think there's a sink in here. It's a water sink. That must be the toilet. Let's see what we can see around here. And let's see, we push this one in. No, let's pull out a little bit. No, it's too much. Okay, now because this is a small room, you find also navigating inside is a tight space. That is the same way if you have a camera and you're operating in a small room. The lens that you are using is going to be a big factor in how well you are able to see inside that. So I'll get out and I want to push right through to the back of the compound, the back of this house. Okay, and we'll push right through, and now we are at the back. I'm actually interested in placing a car in this garage, but I thought, seeing as we are navigating anyway, this is about navigating. How about we turn around? We can see there is our garage, and if I flip the camera right through, it will be able to see the back. There is our door that is hanging at the back, and if I push this one in Z, you can see I can reveal a little bit more of that house, and we can be able to see our garage. There it is. Okay, so it is, I need to be facing in the side of our garage again, and I can come now here and face our garage. So people call it a carport, we call it a garage over here, a garage. So here it is, and if I pull back, you can see, I can see it, and if I go all the way back, you know, using this viewport here, the second one, but I can go all the way back again to the front of the house, and you can see I can be able to now go directly right again into the garage. Now, if it is actually a 3D environment, we should be able to see that. And if I just dolly right through, okay, the camera is a little bit high, and I want to be able to go, like, you know, from the bottom of the door. I can change again from top. Let me come to front, and I can be able to pull this down so that the camera can be level with that. So at eye level, and I can go back up to the top, and I can push into the garage, and there we are inside this space now. Okay, here we are. Now let's see what happens if I change the focal length of our camera. If I come to the camera and I go to layer, camera settings, this is 24 mm. Let's see what happens if I use a 16 mm lens. Okay, it becomes even wider because now I'm using a wider go lens. If I change that, let's see, layer, camera settings, and I change that to 35. What do we have? I think we had 35. Now that's 35. Yeah, we had 24. Now that's 35. That gives me a bigger space to work with, and I can always pull back a little bit. Yeah, just to there. I want to be able to place a car directly inside this without having to worry about the door, because it is a garage. Now here we are. I have my car, the Mazda. I can just drag it in to ask me to make comp size. I don't want to make it a comp size, I just want to scale it down like that. And I think I'll scale it just a little bit more for that until it looks like it is sufficient for this. Now I'll just leave it there. Now you can see the beauty of having this other view here is that you can actually be able to position it even though you can't see it from here, because from here you're looking from behind the camera and you can't see, you can only see what the camera is seeing. This one gives you a bird's eye view of the whole environment you are working with. I want to turn this so that the car is parked facing the front or facing the door of the garage, and I can pull it right out like that, and I can position it way back there. And you can see when you do that, you can see it starting to show up here. If you come to the front, you can see where our car is. It's right on top of it. So I want to push it down like that. Of course, it's way too big still. And now we are actually even inside the car itself. I'll go here, hit S, and scale it further down. Scale it down. Scale it down. Let's go to the top once again and push our car a little bit inside so that it can come away from the door. And there we are inside the garage now, and I can position it where I want. And now I can come back to my null object and work with the camera, push out a little bit, just that's interacting with the door, and I can now be able to see the car inside the garage. So once we have it there, that's all I needed to do, and I can come back and pull outside. I can pull my camera back out, okay, and I can just turn it right back out to the front of the house, and nobody will know we have a car inside our garage. Okay, there we are. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is what we needed to do, is just to navigate the 3D environment in After Effects, and all I needed was to put a car in the garage, and there it is. All other things like lighting, that is something we can do in another tutorial, but for now this is all I needed to do. Just two simple things. One is the use of a 3D null object to which you can be able to parent your camera to, and that makes it easier to navigate your environment. Instead of trying to work with the camera, it can get rather fidgety and becomes very difficult to control. The other one is being able to work in two views so that you can be able to change what you are looking at. That helps you to position your camera much better. You know, like now here is at the front, and I can be able to very easily push the camera to in front of the door. You are able to really better manage the 3D environment. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, this is Nelson Karanja for Global Oak Media. Thank you for tuning in into our tutorial sessions. We appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please support us by that. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, and share the video, make a comment, or even show me a better way of navigating this. I am new in this and it gave me a lot of grief, so I would really appreciate any help that would help me to learn this environment a little better. Thank you very much. Until next time, bye bye.